What do you want to know before you commit in a relationship? And here's a few questions that you might want to find out before you say, yeah, I want to continue on to be a serious relationship, and being steadfast about it as well. So that being said, stay tuned. Hi, if you don't know who I am, I'm Sindy V King. I'm a creator of Calling My King. I help transform women to create lasting love through Vedic astrology, neuroscience, and transactional analysis so that she becomes the queen of love. And today we're going to be specifically talking about questions that you want to ask before you commit into a relationship. So you have probably spent some hours or even weeks together, and you really built a relationship, and you feel like you want to move forward in this serious, continuous, and probably be monogamy in a relationship. So there's a few things that you want to either ask them specifically, and especially him. And I know that you guys need to balance your career, your financial, even economically, even your health as well on top of this. A few things that you want to find out is, is he emotionally and financially independent? So what do I mean by emotionally and financially? So emotionally, he's not attached to anybody else, another woman or whoever he might be communicating, because you guys are still getting to know each other in that way. And financially independent, is he like financially supporting either a woman on the side, or is he paying for some sort of service? It could be like that. And that could be anything from a webcam or outside service. You want to find out what that might look like for you. And a big thing is, is he willingly go steady and monogamy with you? So I think monogamy is very, being exclusive, right? Sexually exclusive and being steady as well. And monogamy also can even a great opportunity if you want to find out if you guys both need to get tested. And that's totally fine today to be asking somebody, look, I don't need to know your history of sexual history, but what I really need to know is you're clear from any sort of STI in general, right? And then you guys can talk about even what kind of protections that you like to be using as they're in a relationship, because you are in a monogamous relationship and you are going steady, and really important too. And here's another important point here. How often do you guys want to spend time together? How often do you guys want to spend time together? Meaning, how do you want to see each other once a week, bi-weekly, how many hours? And it could change, right? And it could go by week or month by month. I recommend if you're first dating, maybe just go by week, and then maybe after that go bi-weekly, and then go monthly, to be honest. So you have a better understanding how to navigate stress level in general when you're dealing with the 4 seasons. I talk about the 4 seasons in relationship, and it's a very common thing once you get off the honeymoon or lust stage as well. So when your brain is all firing up with all these dopamine and serotonin, and it's great when you're in that position, but what happens when things are a little bit bumpy? What are you going to do about it too, right? So this is a good trial stage. So you guys have a clear thing. Okay, everybody missed this part, but this is really important. What is the best form of communication? Ask him. What is the best form of to communicate you? Is it on a daily basis you want to be in touch on? And it could be anything from even social media, even over the phone or text messaging. Somebody like myself, I really don't like to be on my phone often. So texting is not really is for me. And some people like the voice message now in these days. That's really common and modern as well. But I think what's really most important, you have to find out what form of communication works best for you. Again, it's going to be a trial and error. And this person, I'm hoping, might have a better sense of like, yeah, text message works for them. In conversation wise, I think text message, if it's really important and you guys are, not seeing eye to eye in certain things, take it off of text message and maybe get into a phone conversation. I think that's really important here, to have that key sense of like, when things are not going really well, I think it's best get off the technology in general and really have like a face-to-face conversation, or even like over the phone if you guys can, if you're traveling or whatever it is, or work comes up, or you're in a different location than what needs to be dealt with. But I think it's really important, if you're going through a difficult stage, I think I kind of broke down the transactional analysis about how to do that. And the first thing is definitely making an appointment before you're screaming their heads off. And it's really important to respect their time so that they can respect your time and your boundaries too. We talk about boundaries often, but we never talk about respecting others people's boundaries, but also that's how other people can respect your boundaries too, because that's owning it. So really important, you have to respect theirs in order you to earn that respect of boundaries too. And you put that in placement. It's definitely a two-way stream, not a one-way stream. That's what my point is right here. I wouldn't have any men in the house unless either you're engaged, because either the kids are really small and they have some sort of attachment as young children. You can read this a little bit more in Daniel Siegel books, and he writes about like how development of kids and how attachment works. I think that's really important. And if the relationship breaks apart, you don't feel like, what did I just do to my kids, and how do I manage this, and what do I do when they feel there's some sort of abandonment issue. So you want to prevent as much of that as you can, and that's including with yourselves too. And those are the boundaries that you guys can have a conversation if there are kids are involved, or you're living with roommates, or whatever that might be, or a religious factor. These are the things that it can come up here before you say like, this relationship can work, right? But if the person's like, you know what, I can't do this. I'm looking for a woman from 9 to 5, and you're a corporate woman that isn't a 9 to 5. You're probably a CEO or CFO, and you don't have a 9 to 5 job, and you're flying everywhere, and you can't be home in the certain hours. If that's something you already have a difference, and these are the core value, that is considered to be unavailable. Honestly, you have to make it clear with them, whatever your job and career is, I don't want you to give that up. It's not you. You have to let them know like, this is probably isn't a fit. I don't want to create a resentment down the road by pretending that I could be a 9 to 5 when I'm never 9 to 5. Those are 9 to 5. There's nothing wrong with 9 to 5, and they look for their martinis or their weekends, and that's totally fine for a lifestyle. But if it doesn't fit your values, don't go along with it. Does that make sense? And I think he would have more respect when you really say that. And honestly, the whole ghosting thing is rubbish. I think it is a form of abuse, emotionally abuse. Honestly, I think it's unacceptable. If you have spent some time, this human has invested their time in you financially or whatever it might be, and you have the right ownership. Say, look, this is the situation, and I don't want to either use you or make you feel in the way that you're going to resent me and down the road. I don't want that situation to happen. So you have to make it very clear. And if everything is fine and dandy, and that's great, I think you guys can move forward to the next level. Oh, by the way, did you know that if you leave a comment down below and you share your story, it's going to help a lot of people as well. And number 2, it has to be your story. It's really important because sharing is caring. But definitely I do have a membership here, and it's for the queens, and you get to know a little bit more about face features that I share you, tips that you want to make sure that you have encountered. And they're just much longer videos than these ones in these YouTube ones that I make for you guys. But I really want you to join there because I really allow you to go into the big deep dive. I go into the deep dive of like the details of it and what makes sense. I don't want to share it for everybody, but sharing is caring here, but I want to share the deeper stuff if you really are ready for it. That being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye now.